this week I've been all over the place doing a coaches symposium for CMS, had a info session that we led for SEL 4NC, had multiple lunch and learns about SEL implementation in higher ed, and then was in Asheville partnering with Collaborative Classrooms to do some work around belongingness and putting belongingness first with leaders and teachers across Western North Carolina. And so it was a very, very busy week of just being in different spaces with different people all around serving students and supporting students' growth. And there's a really big theme that was kind of the key through all of it in our conversations and the workshops that I was leading. And it was a reminder and a intentional process of realizing that in order to get any of these things to stick, in order to get these social and emotional skills at the foundational level where it just exists, right? You feel it in the culture, you experience it in interactions, you feel it in interactions, it's in the language, all this stuff. We have to model it. As adults, we set the stage. We have to model what these skills look like. And be able to speak to it and have language around it and be able to speak around the process of it. And that's so critically important. I think so much when implementation falls short or doesn't fully translate to where it sticks foundationally, and instead it's kind of just this thing that you go and grab on the shelf when you need it, is because it's not actually modeled. It's not day-to-day modeled by the adults who are leading the students and leading the space. When you're looking at a way of how you show up, how you interact, how you educate, how you build relationships through a lens of these social and emotional skills, you're going to behave in that way. You're going to take aligned action with what you're trying to integrate and move forward. And that gets picked up. That gets picked up from the community, that gets picked up by other teachers, that gets picked up by students. When they see you modeling, they look at you and they can tell based on the language that we use, the behaviors that we exemplify, how we should be functioning and operating. And when it comes to this work, I think one of the major factors in getting it to stick is an adult commitment to modeling it. How are we just consistently showing up to model it? And when we get trained and we develop our skills around it, then we're able to see relationships, instruction, team meetings, leadership, running a school, running a district, all through this social and emotional lens. And we get to model that in the ways that we show up and who we are. And I think that's so much of what I feel is missing. Is we get so excited about wanting to put this right directly in the hands of students. Let's put the program, the curriculum, the skills in the hands of students. But there becomes this disconnect because it's not actually being consistently modeled, because the adult hasn't taken the time to develop themselves and their skills around it. And that's what Come Home's process is. It's this process of self to systems. And that's where sustainability and implementation really flourish and come to life. It's when there's a huge investment in the adult's development around it, and they start to model it. And then they start to look at the impact and influence it has on others, and then making sure that it's reflected in the systems and structures and routines and practices that they have set in place. When I think about being a school administrator and us committing to putting this work and this development at the foundation, year one was all about adults. And there were so many different things that we did to make sure it was communicated that it was prioritized by us. And that was from the way that we led meetings, that was from the way that we conducted one-on-ones, that was from the ways in which we made ourselves available in routines to support and be there for teachers. And it was also reflected in just our building. One of the things we did was hire a local artist to really put up these different murals and pictures and language that really started to reflect some of the priorities that we were committed to doing as it relates to social and emotional development. And so not only were you seeing it and feeling it in the interactions, but you could just be walking down the hallway and that reminder's right there for you, or you see it on the wall. And so there's so many different things, but when we don't model it, that stuff never translates, that stuff never happens. So just a big reminder for us as educators and as leaders that when we're looking to develop and really bring things to life, we have to make sure that we are setting the standard